Namaste. Welcome all of you to the Thursday 10 p.m. show. And today we have the redoubtable Abhijit Iyer Mitra with the Republican candidate Shri Vibhuti Jha, and we are going to discuss the US midterm election. So, welcome Abhijit and welcome Vibhuti ji.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And so, what we can do that in reverence and in deference to Kamala Mausi and Biden Chacha, we can ask Shri Vibhuti Jha, the Republican candidate for Long Island Assembly seat for the NY State Assembly, to first deliver his campaign speech.
Thank you very
in
much
the,
for the
in the name of
allowing
our
me
Lord.
this campaign speech. It is very simple. The entire country, and particularly my state, is going through a major crime scenario. And the fact of the matter remains that the governor candidate, Miss Hochul Delgado, is totally out of sync in even recognizing this reality, the threat. Let me give you one example. In the debate with Republican candidate Lee Zeldin, she said that when Mr. Lee said that crime is so high and soft on crime, she said, "Why are you even worried about it?" Now
Yes,
that smacked such a
so crime,
unreal.
crime is an old fashioned word. You must apply the rules of intersectionality to crime.
You can say that. If I say that, it will be another charge against me. So politics is a very strange one. And the second one issue, which is very important, is it may come as a surprise to you guys to know that for the last 2 years, New York has the highest rate of exit from the state. Highest rate of exit from the state for crime and high tax policy. People all go to Florida. And as a result of which, US in New York is losing revenues, job creators, and their people are packing away. So in a very interesting lighter vein, Mr. Zeldin told in a public rally that Florida, he was with Florida Governor DeSantis. He said, "You are soon going to lose your real estate agent who is sending people to your state because she's going to lose because New Yorkers can't handle that part of it because you are losing productive people." So there is an exodus of people from New York, as well as the fact that crime is on the rise. This is third matter, which is very important for people to know, that New York budget is virtually twice the size of Florida. Twice the size of Florida. And here it is a classic democratic rule, free things and giveaways. After all, somebody is paying for it. So these are very key important issues on which we feel that the red wave that is gripping the country and the people are talking about, I hope it is 100% true, uh, will propel for the first time in 15 years for a Republican leadership to come in a remarkably blue state. And that would be, I would put it, a tectonic political shift that New York is expecting and New Yorkers want. As a matter of fact, let me just add quickly to this that lots of Latinos who are in small businesses, Southeast Asians, Indians, including Muslims, are moving towards the Republican Party for one reason. And everybody has their one big reason to do that. Many people are unhappy about the schooling education that is going on, heavy dose of sex related matters, transgenderism. People don't want it. Essentially, all the migrants are essentially conservative people. They want to preserve their family values. And when you begin to tell children in school, kindergarten children, kids as small as that, when you begin to say that don't tell your parents about it, we will take care of your desire to change, that has blown many people's minds. After all, most of the immigrants in New York State are Firangis, have come from overseas. They don't like that kind of an education going on. In one of the forums, I said this, that somebody told me once that, oh, you guys are come from foreign countries, our children know everything, you guys don't have any sex education and all that. I said, don't forget, our country is the one that gave Kama Sutra to the world. What are you talking about that we don't know the things about reality of life? But there is an element of timing, there is an element of responsibility that we have to exercise as well. So there is a real divide right now. Liberalism gone crazy. That's what I'm talking about here. And yes, one final point here. Long Island, particularly, is a very safe community. It's a prosperous community. People have left the urban life of New York City to come and enjoy the suburban life, the best of both worlds. And that is under threat. My wife's car was stolen right from in front of our house. Theft can happen anytime, but when it happens in this way, then people begin to worry that when the house will be broken in. And that is also happening. Police are, and this is really a sad reflection. Whether it's in New Jersey, Connecticut, Long Island, everywhere police is ambushed on a 911 call. The incidence of police officers being killed is getting really high. And these are matters of big concern for people, because I have said it in my statement that I don't want Long Island to resemble California, Los Angeles, California, two big cities, San Francisco and LA, Chicago firing. You have a scenario of, New York City being what it is. You see it's New York City. People are pushing people in front of the train, slashing, hitting. These are not acceptable. Even yesterday, in our rally yesterday, there was a black lady who was talking about the fact that her son lost her life because of the bail system that New York City operates, or New York State operates. It is a big mess, let's put it that way. This particular election, as my governor candidate said very smartly and very correctly, your life, vote in this election as if your life depends on it, because it does. And that's what is important.
Right. Abhijit, the way it looks and the way the Republican candidate is sounding so enthusiastic and so upbeat, looks like the composition of the House and the Senate is going to change. And I think it is my thought that it is going to have a global impact, especially because of the Ukraine conflict, and especially because I think there is an undercurrent within US against the US involvement in the Ukraine war. And you remember, the Vietnam War was not lost on the Vietnam war front, but it was lost within the US opinion. So, how do you think it is going to shape up?
So may the blessings of Christ be on all our brothers and sisters. Hopefully, they see the light. I also apologize.
Mahakal ki jai.
Jesus saves. I also apologize. I'm going to be very slow because I'm heavily medicated. I'm not doing very well at the moment. See, I do believe the Republicans are going to sweep both houses come the midterm elections later this month. But that said, I am not particularly optimistic about either California or New Jersey or New York. And I'll tell you why. What we see in ideological states is uh, that people are so desperate they vote for more and more of the same thing. The more desperate you become, the more dependent on handouts you become. Which is why, despite all the American charges of saying that Maduro lost the election, I genuinely believe in Venezuela, Maduro won the election. I genuinely believe that, the government appointed clerics in Iran actually win the election with minimal cheating. Why? Because the more desperate people get, the more they need to survive on handouts. Right? So it doesn't matter what Venezuela goes through. they will keep voting for, the Chavezistas in that sense. You will see this in America, where the Democrats have, of course, refined. Let's not call it election manipulation. Let's just call it, how shall we put this politely? Uh, 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 Contextualizing the election lists, the list of voters, and propping it up with people who they think will vote for them. Long back, we used to see Republicans do this in a very different kind of way. They knew what the high crime neighborhoods were, and they'd see to it that policemen were always posted outside voting centers, knowing full well that in high crime areas, the police would get deterred. But the Democrats have sort of taken it to the next level. In leaving certain names out, adding certain names, ensuring that a certain kind of immigration happens into certain areas, etc., etc., etc. I don't think there is a way back for New York, New Jersey, all these essentially uniparty blue states, because remember, a dictatorship does not exactly happen by military coups. The system is irretrievably broken before a full scale electoral capture happens in that sense. This is what anthropology teaches us. So I'm quite convinced that, New York has a long history up until recently of voting for Democrat senators but Republican governors, because they wanted to inflict socialism on the rest of the country, but they wanted the benefits of capitalism for themselves. At least New York City did. And this seems to be a recurrent trend, except I think both now will be Democrat. So I do believe the Republicans will take over both the House and the Senate. But I do not hold out much hope for the states as such. Do we see a higher voting percentage and seat gains for Republicans in New York and California? Sure, but once there's been an ideological space capture, it's impossible to reverse it, in my opinion.
My question was slightly different. I said, assuming the House and the Senate goes to the Republicans, how would it impact the global scenario, especially the Ukraine war?
Well, the first thing is that they will not focus on all these contrived committees, the January 6th committee, Russia Gate committee, and all of that. By the way, whatever happened to Russia Gate? Everybody's moved on to January 6th. Nobody wants to talk to Russia Gate. Nobody's issued an apology for Russia Gate or anything like that. I think all these committees will end, number one. The ending of those committees means, because remember, what the Democrats were using those committees for was to divert attention from the foreign policy failures of Biden. And the problem is, we have never seen such an inept and completely uh, out of control president than Biden. Because under him, all the different silos of the Democratic Party, each one is running an independent foreign policy. The wokes have gone crazy. The interest groups have gone crazy. More than the wokes going crazy, I think it's the interest groups that have gone crazy. So one is interested in alienating Saudi Arabia. The second guy is interested in alienating Iran. The third guy is interested in alienating Russia. The fourth guy is interested in alienating China, whereas the first three groups are probably in the pay of China. So what ends up happening out here is, we have never seen America systematically alienate so many people all at the same time. If you remember Indira Gandhi's comment after losing the 77 election, after the emergency, when somebody asked her what went wrong, she said, we alienated all the people at the same time. You never alienate all the people at the same time. Here, Saudi Arabia and Iran can't stand each other. The one thing that they agree on is that America is the great Satan at the moment. And Saudi Arabia was one of your closest allies. The UAE was one of your closest allies. And the Saudis have explained why they need to increase the price of oil. Okay. What was that reason? See, the Emirates, they diversified into a human economy long before. They use the oil profits to create, economies of scale in manufacturing. They have a fantastic low interest, fantastic regulatory environment, low tax, no tax environment, where companies love to come up and set up manufacturing and whatnot out there, high tech manufacturing and things like that. And they have extremely good human capital. Saudi Arabia did not do that. It is the first time that, remember, till even today, the king is a son of the founder of the third Saudi state. He is the son of the original Ibn Saud. MBS is the first generational break, and he understands that he needs to diversify the economy away from oil. And to diversify the economy, you need money. You start off with infrastructure. First, he's fixed the regulatory issues. He's fixed the sort of, uh, all Saudi women wanted initially was the right to drive. He's given them more than the right to drive. He's given them the right to take off the hijab. They're coming on TV. They're making some fantastic programs and things like that now. What you see is a state which should have, now that its reform path should have been completely in alignment with American values, is being punished for having an economic vision that sets it free from oil. So imagine Saudi Arabia is doing exactly what Europe has been preaching to the world. You need to go green. Okay, we're going green. We're not going to depend on oil. We're going to try all these different things. NEOM has a significant solar footprint. They want to harness solar energy. Great. They diversify, invest in human beings, diversify from commodities. Great. That is what Saudi Arabia is doing. Greater civil rights and things like that. These are the beginnings of civil rights. Personal liberties are the beginnings of civil rights. They're literally doing everything in terms of value. And America is turning its back on value-based foreign policy. For what? For Ukraine. A little shithole in the middle of nowhere with absolutely no strategic or economic value to anybody around it, except for Russia. Okay. So you cannot have this kind of a policy in Iran. Now you want to screw over the Emirates and you want to screw over Saudis. Remember, the Republicans still have, in many ways, it was President Trump that gave the protection to MBS to foster this entire culture of diversification and things like that. Remember, it was President Trump that went on telling Germany, boss, you're too dependent on Russia. You need to diversify now. And they all made fun of him then. And today, where has that landed Europe? So in many ways, it was Trump and the Republicans that provided the room for genuine values-based alignment between Saudi Arabia and America, which is now affecting the Democrats because they do not actually support value-based foreign policy. They want the Saudis to democratically do what they're dictated to do by Washington, in spite of the fact that they're doing exactly what the Americans want the Saudis to do. They just don't want it to happen now, and internal reforms and the entire people and interests of Saudi Arabia have to subjugate it to American interests in Ukraine. And then America tells you it doesn't want, Democrats tell you they don't want to control anyone. It is in fact the Republicans who don't want to control. Democrats want to exercise control completely on everybody and everything. In America, they do socialism to control people's minds, to reduce them to penury and keep them dependent on the state. It is the mindset of a drug dealer. It is the Democrats have that exact mindset of a methamphetamine dealer, of a crystal dealer. Okay, Iran. Now you can use Iran against Saudi Arabia if it's gotten to this stage. No, because there are protests happening. And mind you, these are only elite protests. These are not the protests that happened in 2014, 15, 16. I forget exactly when, were much more. Sorry, I just need to take a sip. Were in fact much more broad-based because they were against the complete system. This is as relevant, these protests are as relevant as JNU protests are to Indian polity. But you want to support that and sink your ties with Iran. Israel is now lost because Netanyahu will, remember, it was Biden coming to power who engineered this entire coalition to bring Netanyahu down. He made all the calls. Well, not him, but the Democrats made all the calls saying, you can be right wing, but you can't take Netanyahu on board. So And now everybody expected a hung parliament. Now we know out of 120 seats in the Knesset, Netanyahu's bloc is 165, absolute majority. Right? So Israel is gone, Saudi Arabia is gone, the Emirates are gone. The previous government of Yair Lapid was tweeting things against Russia. Netanyahu will not tolerate that. He'll want to keep his own options open with this thing. So you've alienated Iran, Emirates, Israel, and Saudi Arabia are implacable. Israel and Iran are implacable foes. Saudi Arabia and Iran are implacable foes. You've literally managed to unite their foreign policies. How dumb can you get? The Republicans, I think, a Republican-dominated both houses will impose a very, very significant check on an absentee cadaver of a president, and it will impose it will prevent the worst excesses. At least, I mean, they need a 2/3 majority to override a presidential decree. I don't think they'll reach a 2/3 majority, but they certainly won't make life as easy for the kind of absolutely shocking dereliction of duty, criminal dereliction of duty, and power cliques, unaccountable, unelected power cliques that have emerged within the Democratic Party that are controlling policy. On Russia and Ukraine, I don't think we will see much change. Because remember, there is a sort of uniparty mindset to what is happening out there. Had Trump, in many ways, Trump kind of exacerbated it by starting arms sales to Ukraine. On the other hand, he would have also probably exercised the threat value of him. He knew how to calibrate threats. Biden is too ideological well, not Biden. I mean, we don't even know. I mean, Biden doesn't even know what his own right hand does. So I don't think he knows what the government does. But
Saint Biden. He's Saint Biden.
I don't know if it is saint. I don't think every person who contracts a mysterious divine affliction attains sainthood. Though he might claim that he is being pilloried and crucified in much the same way as our Lord was pilloried and crucified. I don't think anybody sees a person who supports abortion definitely can't be going beatified or canonized in any way. So he's not Saint Biden. Let's call it Cadaver Biden from the Adams family values. Morticia Adams ki tarah Morticio Biden, who wakes up from a coffin every day. But in Russia, there is a sort of uniparty thinking on Russia, which I don't think will change. But I think in terms of the Middle East policy, there will be significant changes. I think there will be a significant movement towards restricting the money that goes unaccounted to Ukraine. But even there, remember, the Democrats have the Republicans on the back foot because they can just keep hurling Russia accusations at them and put them on the back foot. Like they did during the Trump presidency, nothing proven. No Washington Post, New York Times has ever retracted a story or apologized.
I think time to bring in Mr. Vibhuti Jha again. Are you of the same opinion that nothing will change as far as Russia and Ukraine is concerned, even if the Republicans win the control of both the House and the Senate?
My thought is things will change. I'll tell you the reason why. So much money has been pumped into Ukraine. So much military hardware has been given to them to fight Russia. But nobody has tried to find a solution to that. And everybody is cognizant of the fact that when our own budgetary deficits are mounting day by day, and by the inflation has eaten into the core of this country. Like today you are paying what you used to pay for $1.19 for a dozen eggs, you are paying $3 today. You are paying a substantial amount of money. The value, the inflationary hit on people is so high that it is irritating people that we are pumping money in Ukraine, creating our own deficits without taking care of our own people. That question has become a commonplace conversation. So the question is that now you have pumped in almost double the money of Ukraine's GDP in Ukraine through military hardware. And no, everybody was very unhappy in America for the way we ran away from Afghanistan, leaving behind dump, ammunition holes there. So that is, there will be a change because there is an urgent need for managing our own economy, our own self. And if we are trying to export our model of democracy, then we have to be in a fit condition to do so. That's another big issue which Republicans have on this matter, that things can't remain the same. Because if they pursue the same path, trust me, 2024 would be a very bad one for Republicans because you are promising a battle of change. But I agree with Abhijit on one other matter. I'm reminded of my favorite satirist. He's no more, Mr. O'Rourke, who said that the United States will forever have a very difficult time to have a comprehensive immigration policy or a cogent foreign policy because every goddamn fellow in this country is a foreigner. You are seeing that play out in more ways than one. So it is very difficult for US to come up with a policy which seems cogent. And that's what is a worrisome factor again. The one element which I might have to submit an information for Abhijit is that you are right. California and New York are indelibly blue, and they are not going to change. But in New York, what is happening this time is that polls are indicating that people are really fed up of the rampant taxation, people leaving the state. Twice in 2 years, people have left. More than 360,000 people have left this state. It led to loss of revenue, lot of tax revenue, and as well as job opportunities. So people are not happy. Inflation, the way the country is moving, is a bad direction. And this time, I feel that there is a likelihood of a change. There is one particular polling, real clear poll average says that, Zeldin is about 3 to 4 points within the margin of error. But there is another company that does Trafalgar Group, and they have put Zeldin 1.5 points ahead of Hochul. And remember one thing, it's very important because television is a very interesting, I don't know why it is called an idiot box. It's a remarkable box. If it is an idiot box, it's a remarkably idiot box because you see things as it is.
Intelligent idiot.
It is an intelligent idiot because now what is happening is people are seeing Zeldin and Hochul at the same time. At the same time, in the same moment, giving their thoughts, speaking their minds. And there is a gulf between the two candidates. Capacities, experience, intellectual heft, and pure zeal and enthusiasm to fix New York. Hochul has no desire or zeal to fix New York. She feels everything is okay, we will take care of it. What Abhijit was talking about, people get used to freebies. People get used to platitudes. We will do this for you for free. But this is also the country that taught me and the rest of the world there is no free lunch. Somebody is paying for it. And that people in the small business segment are realizing it because the crime hurts the small business first. I mean, everybody knows that Minneapolis and other places where these guys, the black guys, black dressed guys who were there, who hijacked the BLM movement and Antifa. Then in the name of Antifa, they were all being fascist in doing what they were doing. Did anyone like it? The answer is no. Nobody is happy about it. Nobody wants those scenes repeated in their neighborhoods. And that's what is important, that the average Joe, as the saying goes, average Joe is remarkably concerned and is very involved this time. Democrats, and yes, there is a very interesting element to this. Madam Hochul has alienated liberals, independents, conservatives, business people. Every single group is unhappy for one reason or the other for her apathy in not understanding the issue and addressing the issues with concern that it deserves. Nobody has a solution, magic wand for everything, but there is a concern that you display, and that concern is missing.
All right, just another question, follow up. Are there many Democrats in the United States who are thinking like Tulsi Gabbard?
You're asking me?
Yes.
Yes, yes. There are many people who are neither extreme right nor extreme left. They are smack in the middle, and they see tremendous amount of the sense and sensibility in what Tulsi Gabbard is trying to do or say. And at least people love her for her political incorrectness in confronting issues the way it is. And that way she has shown a courage. America loves people of courage. America loves comeback kids. America loves a dissenting point of view. That's why freedom of speech is a big thing in this country. And that's what they say. I mean, remember one thing, it's one of the largest innovative patent holding country in the world. All these things are happening because this country allows you to find solutions to your problems. The Democrats are not looking at solutions. They say, we will fix it. Sarkari mai baap, what we say in India. So we will protect you. Common minimum program. You remember the bane of India was a common minimum program, which meant nothing else. Do nothing, show something. That's what is bedeviling the Democratic Party. And they have, honestly speaking, in my opinion, they don't have economic policy. At least Republicans have a pro-business economic policy. Democrats have no policy, they have agendas. And they work on their agendas to fulfill a goal. Somebody's got to pay for it, so blame the rich, tax the rich. I mean, who comes to America to remain poor or unhappy? Everybody wants to come to America to prosper and become wealthier. They attack your success and your wealth creation. So these are things people are saying, pausing and taking care of it. Since when becoming wealthy and prosperous in America became an act of evil? That's what these people are very concerned about. And we all work hard. 90% of the economy is in private sector. So many mom and pop shops are doing business. They are the ones who are hit hardest by high taxes in New York or the crime related situation. That's the issue which is very important. So Abhijit, November 8th, 4 days from now, we will know whether Mr. Zeldin will win, or as he says, whether
5 days. That's where the Republicans go all wrong.
where is that?
It's
5 days.
5 days, not four. You understand, Abhijit? First of all, viewers, please ask your questions and please like the video. That's the first thing that you can do. Abhijit, do you think that America is now the biggest bastion of the left, and there's no left in China and the USSR?
America is the new USSR. Everybody thought the USSR collapsed. It did not. जो प्रेत आत्मा जो थी,
End of history did not happen.
that the evil demonic spirit 666 possessing Damien in Omen, it shifted from the body of the Russian Empire into America. They executed a full institutional capture of academia and, as you know, humanities control. Uh, I don't see a way out. Now, for me, we're not disagreeing on the facts, Vibhuti Ji. We're disagreeing on how those facts play out. Because the people, those 360,000 people who have moved out of New York, they would have been the hardworking, genuine guys.
Right.
Whereas overwhelmingly, the people left behind would have been the woke, quasi-employed, uh, 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 basket cases, essentially. So the number of people depending on social security and government handouts proportionate to the number of people who do not want that is increasing, just like as it is in California. The Russians had to go around executing the bourgeois and the petit bourgeois. In America, you just drive them out. You drive them out to Texas. You drive them out to Louisiana or wherever. Right? So what is happening is there is a reinforcement. I certainly hope that the Republican gentleman will win. My issue is that we have never seen, once it gets into this socialist trap, the only thing, and this is exactly what was happening in Chile. People keep telling you that Salvador Allende was this very sweet, gentle, democratic man. He was a nasty, toxic, sorry to use the word, but piece of shit. Ultimately, Augusto Pinochet had to come in to stop that kind of rot. In America, the systems are very strong. You can't have military coups and things like that. So this will continue unabated, where the number of people who are dependent will continue to stay, because not only do they not have an option to move, but they are not going to get those goodies anywhere else. And the people who actually contribute to society will move out. But what is particularly dangerous is that the people moving out are not turning red. They are actually taking their blue values and infecting Texas with the blue virus. There are a lot of polls to show you that the urban centers of Texas are, you're seeing increases in blue votership. That is to say, Democrat votership. It is like Indians. This is I have very choice, savory words for Indians who have left India for America and then vote Democrat. Generally to do with the other end of the alimentary canal, which I shall not repeat here in polite company. But what happens with the other end of the alimentary canal types, especially Indians, is why did they leave India? Because of socialism, no? Because all that My Bap state and license Raj and all of that destroyed everybody's life. But what do? They land up in America and they vote for those same policies overwhelmingly. 80% of them keep voting for Democrats. 80% of them are concentrated in those areas, in New York and Bay Area and things like that, which are complete Democrat strangleholds. So you see, there is a huge agglomeration of rectums happening. There is a consolidation of rectums happening. And that is my real worry. And it doesn't matter how much, for those of us who are Indians who do believe in still douching, it doesn't matter how much you wash a rectum, it's fundamentally not going to smell any better. And therein lies the tragedy of this entire thing. Something very important that Vibhuti Ji said, I was wondering if you noticed AOC's tweet, which Elon Musk kind of called out. This kind of a tweet would have been the end of your political career a few years back. Let's see what she said. LMAO, laughing my ass off at a billionaire, earnestly trying to sell people on the idea that free speech is actually an 8-month subscription plan. The New York Times wants to sell you that free speech is whatever their monthly subscription fee is. The Sulzbergers are billionaires. Washington Post, Jeff Bezos क्या है? भिखारी है क्या? He gives the Washington Post for free? No. But she targets this tweet only at Elon Musk. Why? Her buddies, her ideological compadres charging you for freedom of speech is freedom of speech. But her ideological opponents charging you for freedom of speech is not freedom of speech. This is the level. Look, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the misbegotten child of Maduro and Hugo Chavez and Salvador Allende kind of people and Fidel Castro kind of people. She genuinely is. She's got that same mindset. मैं करूं तो चमत्कार, तुम करो तो बलात्कार. This woman is going nowhere. This woman is going nowhere. Ilhan Omar is going nowhere. Rashida Tlaib is going nowhere. They are going to be permanent fixtures. This mindset, it is the corruption of the mind. It is the virus of the mind. It is a brain tumor. And there is nothing that can be done about it.
No, you
What
have
do you
a,
say, Vibhuti Ji? You agree?
Yeah, he has a valid point in it because there is a thing called congressional districting, you know, and whipping up the passions. And Abhijit is right. I agree with him. These three people, the names that he mentioned, honorable mentions, I can't say that anything about them. But the issue is that yes, you are right. The people who left New York were the hardworking people, hardworking voters, tax contributors, and the people who are staying back, they will ask for more. And that's what is one people have begun to realize that eventually Democratic Party is pandering politics, playing pandering politics. We are familiar with that. It has happened in India multiple times. We know the impact of that. One of the things that we are telling people also is that you have to end this one party rule. Democracy is all about checks and balances. There is no check and balance in New York or California for that matter. The governor, the legislature, the Senate, the state Senate, and the state legislature is all Democrats, and they are taking people for granted. Remember, Abhijit, one more thing here, that even Latinos are moving towards the Republican Party nationally, not only New York alone. So this is a very significant election for the whole country. The direction is very key. Are we going to be, following a trajectory in which whatever made America the most powerful, strongest economy and all the 99 yards of game, will it remain the same? And that's the concern people have. The unfettered immigration that is going on in southern border. We are all immigrants. Nobody is against immigrants. But the process and the way you are trying to do something is defective. For example, there was a nurses association. All the candidates were addressing the nurses association. There is a shortage of nurses in this country. But everybody is talking about creating nursing schools, giving them overtime money. That is the democratic strategy. Pay them more money, give them overtime. But you forget that nurses perform a real sensitive work. You can't increase their efficiency by paying them overtime because they are going to be tired and exhausted for a very tiring work. So you have to address the situation on a short-term basis, medium-term basis, and a long-term basis. In a short-term basis, they are providing the illegal immigrants which are coming, 2 million plus have come in. Of them, about 100 are suspected terrorists who have been apprehended. Terrorist list people have been apprehended. People are now noticing these things, that we could have brought in nursing, could have ended nursing shortage instead of putting these illegal people in 5-star hotels and paying the hotels exorbitant amount of money to hold them on. And people are doing business. That's pure business. There are people in New York who have given their 245 room hotels to accommodate these people. That is not against speaking against humanitarian aid, but you are allowing things to go out of control. Those people, when they come in the country they're pampered in that particular way, then why won't other people come here? At least even for 30 days of 5-star hotel stay. A special tent created, Xbox given, laundry created, laundry built for cleanliness and maintenance in New York City alone. And the other hoax that came out, other issue that came out, Texas, the border states are bearing the brunt of all the immigration which is coming. When governor of Texas started putting them in a bus and sending them to New York City and Washington, they began to cry, "Oh, we can't handle this load." It is kidnapping and sending the people. People see through the farce now. Nobody is happy about it. Nobody can be happy about it. And I visualize California not, but I believe Mr. Zeldin will win, because you are right, Abhijit. This is a state which is totally blue. Ms. Hochul, in her primary, she got 5 million votes to win her primary. Mr. Zeldin got million plus, million seven or so, 1.7 million. So the gap between the two, people had said, "Oh, Zeldin will not be able to cover the gap," but he's ramping up. He has ramped up. It's in a statistical dead heat. And if Trafalgar
Well,
Group
let's
polling is
let's
to be believed, he has taken a point lead.
let's go beyond the
Sir,
blue
would
states.
you mind if I leave? The medication's really kicking in now.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Not a
No, it's
problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Vibhuti
Bye.
ji, I
yes,
just have to ask you
yeah.
about the overall US scenario. What are the polls indicating?
Polls are indicating that like Michigan governor, Oregon state, states which were completely Democrat, the elections have become toss-ups. Anybody can win. So when you have that kind of a scenario, when a completely blue state, when the governors and senators elections become a toss-up, that is not a good sign for Democrats. It's a good sign for Republicans. And that's what the hint is at, because it's a nationwide. Inflation has hit every single American countrywide. Nobody is exempted. And Mr. Biden is not doing himself any favor when he says that the gas prices went up to, you followed it. This country was energy independent 2 years ago. And you have run a rampant inflation because now you can't hide the data. When Mr. Biden inherited the presidency, inflation was at 1.2 or 1.7%. Right now it is jumping 8%. You know, interest rates are going up. As a result of his mortgages are going up. Buying a house is becoming difficult. It's becoming more and more expensive. And then suddenly you say that a price came by from $6 in California or $5 in New York by a dollar or two, and you say that, hey, we fixed it. People realize that bandage doesn't solve the wound that you have on your body. So that's what is important. Take care. Take care.
Right.
So that nationwide there is. That's why it is called a red wave. There is, you know. Take care, Sanjay ji.
Actually, that water went in the windpipe.
Ah, that is the most inconvenient one. So
So I think we can now go to the audience questions.
right.
And just to remind everybody, day after tomorrow we have the big event, and 5th and 6th, and a lot of good speakers and a lot of great minds will be there. So all of you are invited to the Jaipur Dialogues YouTube channel, because each one of those sessions will be broadcast, telecast live over here, and you will have a very good time. Once again, reminding everybody to like the video, share the video, and all those who are new to please subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon. Questions?
Thank you, Rahul.
Rahul Kulkarni, Har Har Mahadev. Thank you, Ji. Har Har Mahadev. From all of us from here. Uh, Shetty Ji, what's Mr. Shetty saying? In 1984, Yuri Bezmenov, a Soviet Union defector, in his interview, said about ideological subversion in America. Is that what we are seeing the results of it?
Very simple answer in one word: yes. We'll keep to the next question. Yeah. Thank you, Prajwal. Thank you.
Next question. Krishna Sundar, even billionaires are losing under Biden. Why?
Billionaires are losing under Biden. I'm not very clear about it. Losing under Biden.
Probably talking about billionaires, senators, and House reps.
Are you talking about that, Krishnaji? Please, can you clarify your question? Are you saying that? Well, I'm not clear about this question, so I would like him to clarify that a bit. Unless you get it,
Okay.
Sanjay.
Okay. Next. Abhinag, an average New Yorker is moving to Florida and getting a Cuban girlfriend. Chicago is now a shooting city, and Detroit is post-apocalyptic. I am right. Am I right?
Yes, Avi, you are right. Whether I will not comment about the Cuban girlfriend part of it, but the average New Yorker is moving from a barber, from a barber in Long Island who has been trimming my hair when I had a lot of hair, and he trims my beard whenever I go there. He has moved to Florida. I say no estate tax, much less problem, good weather, no snow shoveling. People have found their own reasons to move to Florida. And my friend moved, guy from Bombay lived here in Long Island, moved because of tax reasons. There's a lot of people are leaving this state for tax reasons, and that's true. And about the shooting in Detroit and the drug dealings in California is really creating problem, and people are leaving this state.
Shooting is in Chicago. Chicago.
Chicago shooting is everywhere. Shooting has become rampant everywhere.
Okay.
Okay.
Next. Abhanga Sanatan. Will Victoria Nuland's visa sanctions on India end
That you can
after
answer.
the Republicans gain control?
Yes, she will no longer be in the job.
Okay. That's a good thing. Next. Satyameva Jayate. Thank you, Satyameva Jayate, for your forthcoming retreat on November 5, 6. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next. Naman Kanpal. Vibhuti Ji Pranam. How are things in blue states?
Well, we have talked about it at length. Namanji, thank you very much for your support. Blue states are not doing well economically or socially, and that's the reason why California people are leaving and going to Texas. People from New York are going to Florida. These are all Republican-run states, and even New York City became the world famous city primarily because it was a Republican Mayor Giuliani who fixed the whole city. It was a big mess when I came there, and it was a big mess because it was a very popular Democrat mayor. So this is a very interesting correlation. You have to figure it out. Is that all the Democrat-run cities, and Chicago for that matter, Miss Lightfoot, who is the mayor there, is total mess, and she defends the firing. She blames the Republicans. She blames, and this is one other very interesting thing, which we should be familiar with. Democrats are very adept at playing the blame game. And that's what is important to them. Blame everybody else for their problems. Because in New York State or California, you can't blame anyone for the problem the state faces. Because you have been running the state governor, Senate, assembly for all the time. Why is the budget ballooning in the manner that it does? Thank you, Naman.
Next. Krishna Sundar. Tech billionaires lost half a trillion in net worth.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I thank you very much, Krishna, for clarifying that question that billionaires are losing. When the economy is not doing well, when the interest rates are going through the roof at the moment, and you are indulging in unnecessary expenditure, then there is a problem. Then there is a problem, and people are losing money because the market has gone crazy. Interest rates go up, market goes berserk, and the deficits eat into your vitals. That's also very true. So businesses are not doing well. The oil prices, like it's like, I'll tell you, Amazon is experiencing a significant drop in deliveries because people are holding on to their money, no more shopping. They are expecting that this Thanksgiving and Christmas time, there may not be that kind of a buying, or the people used to splurge money. So if this country is driven by spending and spending and spending, using the money to invest in communities, it's not happening. That's what is the problem.
Next. When I was allowed to vote back in the early 90s, started as a Democrat, but as I became aware of politics, turned independent and mostly Republicans. People are brainwashed, need awakening.
Thank you, Indy Man, for becoming awakened. That's what we say. I always say that it's better to be awake than becoming woke. So I'm glad that you awakened, and thank you very much.
Next. Next. Naman Kanpal, I meant purple states, Sanjay ji.
Uh, okay, blue and purple. But the only thing that I want to say is that the fact that blue states are where they are. There is hardly any purple state as such. We are divided into blue, red, and white. So blue and red economy is blue, political is blue, red, and those are the colors. There is no purple state as such. I mean, I have not known about it. If you have any particular state in mind, please do point out.
Next. Indyman, thank you, Indyman. Thank you for what you're doing. I make sure I watched when possible live events or later recording. God bless India and the USA. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Next, Rahul Kulkarni. Can we expect a Jaipur Dialogue annual event on television, live telecast on any private channel? If no, then I request it's good time to go for live telecast on television. Well, more people watch Jaipur Dialogues on YouTube than they watch television events. So I don't know why you want it on television. It will be there on Jaipur Dialogues live. It will be streamed live, and I think our telecast quality is reasonably okay. So please watch it on the Jaipur Dialogues. Next. Okay. Somebody's saying Florida is a purple state.
Florida, the purple state, these governors have a tremendous amount of power, and the governors give the direction to that. So, yeah, that's right. The governor is the leadership. We are talking about the leadership role here. That's what is important. That's right.
Okay, so with that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you all. Thank you, the viewers. And thank you, Vibhuti ji. Thank you, Abhijit, who just left. Thank you
Abhijit,
all.
I want to thank Abhijit. Before you close, Sanjay ji, I will have one statement for Abhijit. Thank you, Abhijit. Despite feeling unwell, you came to the show. And thank you for your thoughts, which are always very remarkable. Sanjay ji, wish you very best for your show 2 days. Um, if it had not coincided with my election, I would have been there too. So hopefully next year. So all the best
Hopefully
to
next
all the
year. Thank you
viewers
so
and
much.
all the
Thank you so much.
panelists and speakers at the event for a marvelous work that Jaipur Dialogue is doing. Best wishes. And I will request everyone pray for me for my victory. Thank you very much.
And thank you all. Thank you very much. And Vibhuti ji, best of luck for the
Thank you.
8th of November.
Thank you.
Let's have a Republican House representative for the Assembly
Yes.
among our midst. So,
Thank you.
best wishes. Thank you. Good night. Jai Hind. Vande Mataram.
Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.